The most puzzling evidence concerned the amount of shots fired from the Texas School Book Depository. It appeared from the evidence that President Kennedy and Governor Conley were hit by different bullets coming from different directions. If so, more than one assassin was at Dealey Plaza on November 22nd, and Lee Harvey Oswald could not have acted alone. The Warren Commission concluded that both men were wounded by the same bullet, in what has become known as the single bullet theory.
How much truth is there in this, that it's necessary to postulate one bullet injuring both men if there is not to be two assassins?
The one bullet conclusion. You call it the theory, I call it the conclusion. It was a theory until we found the facts. That's why I refer to it as the single bullet conclusion. All right. It is the view of the commission as expressed in the report that it probably did occur that there was a single bullet conclusion.
So the single bullet is crucial. And it was Arlen Specter who first came to the conclusion that the same bullet hit Kennedy and Conley. And this is the bullet Specter and the commission say wounded two men. The Warren Commission said that one bullet hit Kennedy at the back of his neck. It passed through his throat and nicked his tie as it came out. It then went on into Governor Connolly's back. Now smashed through Connolly, smashed a rib, and came out below his breast, just below the nipple. And it wasn't finished yet. The bullet then hit his right wrist, tore through part of it, and then lodged in his left thigh. And this is the bullet that was supposed to have done all this. We found in America that one of the things that presented the greatest stumbling block to believing the commission for the greatest number of people was the condition of bullet 399. Could a bullet which had done as much have come out looking like bullet 399?
There was also confusion about an 8mm film that was shot by an amateur cameraman named Abraham Zapruder. This film captured the assassination at the moment of impact and appears to show the president's head being thrust back, as if a bullet had hit him from the front. Since Oswald was situated behind the president, it would again indicate that another assassin was involved. It is interesting to note that CBS reporter Dan Rather, after screening the film, gave a misleading account over the radio, as if the head had been thrust forward.
Just returned from seeing a movie which clearly shows the president's assassination. It got about 35 yards from the base of the building. President Kennedy had just put his right hand up to the side of his right eye. The president lurched forward just a bit. It was obvious that he had been hit in the movies, but you had to be looking very closely in order to see it. The second shot, the third shot total, hit President Kennedy, and there was no doubt there. His head went forward with considerable violence, no doubt there.
The Warren Commission responded by suppressing the distribution of the film. However, they did print frames of the film in the Warren Commission report. Curiously, the order of the frames immediately following the impact of the headshot had been switched in the printing. The tenor of the Warren Commission is most dramatically revealed in the transcripts of an emergency session called by the Commission's attorney, Lee Rankin. Rankin had received evidence that Oswald once worked as an agent for the FBI. It concerned him for a number of reasons. Most obviously, because it tied Oswald into Hoover's agency. The transcript reads, Rankin, if that was true and it ever came out and could be established, you would have people think that there was a conspiracy to accomplish this assassination that nothing the Commission did or anybody could dissipate. Boggs, you are so right. Dulles, oh terrible. Boggs, the implications of this are fantastic, don't you think so? Rankin, now it is something that will be very difficult to prove out. I am confident that the FBI will never admit it, and I presume their records will never show it. Dulles, why would it be in their interest to say he is clearly the only guilty one? Rankin, They would like to have us fold up and quit. Boggs. This closes the case, you see. Rankin. They found their man. There is nothing more to do. The commission supports their conclusion, and we can go on home. And that is the end of it. Boggs. I don't even like to see this being taken down. Dulles. Yes, I think this record should be destroyed. On September 27, 1964, the Warren Commission report was released to great fanfare.
Two further impressions are inescapable from even a casual reading of the Commission report. First, Oswald was a liar. During the few hours between his arrest and his death, he was repeatedly interrogated. The Commission report reveals that he lied on important matters of substance. He lied about his rifle, his revolver, his movements, the documents found on his person. Second, no investigation could have been more painstaking than that carried out by this commission. Every resource of criminology was called into play: ballistics tests, analysis of the guns themselves, handwriting analysis, the blanket in which the rifle was wrapped, the photographs and the documents linking Oswald to the crime. And Earl Warren was not too dignified to race down the stairs at the depository building, matching his time against Oswald's. In the end, we find confronting each other the liar, the misfit, the defector on the one hand, and 7 distinguished Americans on the other.
I knew Earl Warren very well. I knew him so well that I found it a little difficult to disbelieve him. I couldn't conceive in my mind that a man as honorable as Earl Warren would try to deceive the American people.
I recall an esteemed professor opening it up and showing me. He said, "Look at all these footnotes." They had over 7,000 footnotes. It was really spiffy. And 7,000 footnotes to fraud.
I believe that Warren was involved. I think that he knew what he was doing. I think he may have been the one member of the Warren Commission other than Allen Dulles who knew. Lyndon Johnson then adopted the Warren Commission's findings. Not only adopted them, but publicly endorsed them. Not only publicly endorsed them one time, publicly endorsed them a dozen times, 24 times. Yet, not long before he died, he was being interviewed by a very distinguished and honorable newspaper reporter named Howard K. Smith. And Howard K. Smith asked him a number of questions and finally came to this question: well, what about the Kennedy assassination? Lyndon Johnson blurted out, Kennedy tried to kill Castro, but Castro got Kennedy first.